Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Asterisk Studio. It's the Wade and Carter Show live from beautiful downtown Victoria, as we are every single Monday to Friday morning. Glad you're all here. Lots to get to this morning. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerlam Hayfeed and Ranch Services. Stop on by, go get your Wade and Carter blend. I got mine. Grass is already looking greener.
57 degrees under partly cloudy skies in Victoria, Texas. Heading to a high today of 78. Deerlam Feed telling you to get your 21-7-14 blend down because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday it's going to gently rain it in. Your yard will thank you. We're going to try to go live to a press conference between Pete Hegseth, somebody else, regarding the news of the day, which is the ceasefire that has been initiated.
The chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Raisin Kane, is the other one.
Go. Can we get to that, or is that a commercial? I
don't think it's started yet.
All right. Hopefully we're going to, I don't know how we do this to where they see it.
Hasn't started yet, so once it begins, we will.
There you go.
We'll bring it up. So the big news of the day, President Trump does not attack Iran yesterday. In fact, late breaking news, Israel has also agreed to stop attacking Iran. So a ceasefire in place for 2 weeks. Iran already spinning it that the U.S. has capitulated, and that's just what they've got to do to sell it to their people, I guess. But
yeah. Been told that Iran is also, they agreed to a 10-point plan that they proposed that involves the immediate opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and apparently they are already kind of, some ships can go, some can't. We've got to see which ones are seaworthy. They want to protect the strait. Apparently there are literally hundreds of ships, waiting to come through the strait. The military expert, a guy named Blaine Holt, a general that I listened to this morning, said that Trump actually is still playing chess while everybody else is watching checkers. This is a guy who he's retired. I don't feel like he's beholden to the administration. He also kind of went, I think President's doing a great job. And they said, well, what do you think about Pete Hegseth? And he goes, I guess he's okay. So he's highly opinionated, highly experienced. I think he's a former Air Force pilot and general.
Brigadier General, retired.
And he did say, he said that Trump exposed to the Iranian public that the regime, the IRGC, was willing to allow its citizens to be killed.
Apparently Iran was urging their youth, and get this. Young males, athletes, the future of the country, they were telling them, go form human chains around all our power plants, and apparently they were running out to go do it.
And the general said that planes were in the air, B-52 bombers that took off from RAF Fairford in the UK were in the air and were called back and said, look, they agreed to it. I don't know. I would love to say politics aside, I think this is a major victory for the United States. But politics involved. Does the left say, Trump chickened out. Trump didn't do what he said he was going to do? My gut tells me no, because we clearly could have bombed all that infrastructure. I actually applaud the president for not killing people that he didn't apparently have to kill or didn't feel that he had to kill. Obviously, he didn't have to kill anybody. You could let them have a nuke and we could all get blown up. But for him to say this is the position of the United States, and then for him to conclude, I'll work with you. I'll take 2 weeks off. And this ought to bolster even the most ardent Trump detractor should say, well, you know what? He's being reasonable. He did back off. Let's listen live as Pete Hegseth addresses the media. Can we hear it, you think?
Yeah, just give me a second here.
President Trump made history. From the strike that took out Qasem Soleimani, to tearing up the disastrous Obama-Iran deal, to the precision campaign that obliterated Iran's nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, to the decisive military victory we just achieved in Operation Epic Fury.
Let us know if you're hearing this. Folks.
No other president has shown the courage and resolve of this commander-in-chief. President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it. As the President truth this morning, a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory on the battlefield. A capital V military victory. By any measure, Epic Fury decimated Iran's military and rendered it combat ineffective for years to come. You see, in less than 40 days, one of our combatant commands, Central Command, CENTCOM, using less than 10% of America's total combat power, dismantled one of the world's largest militaries. The world's leading state sponsor of terrorism proved utterly incapable of defending itself, its people, or its territory. We untied just a fraction of our strength, and Iran suffered a devastating military defeat. Together with our Israeli partners, America's military achieved every single objective, on plan, on schedule, exactly as laid out from day one. Iran's Navy is at the bottom of the sea, whether it's the Soleimani class, their frigate class, their prized drone aircraft carriers, submarines, mine layers, sunk. Iran's Air Force has been wiped out. Iran no longer has an air defense, any sort of a comprehensive air defense system. We own their skies. Their missile program is functionally destroyed. Launchers, production facilities, and existing stockpiles depleted and decimated. And almost completely ineffective. Iran shot hundreds and hundreds of missiles and one-way attack drones at our aircraft carrier. They were obsessed with it, and they never got even close. Every single one of those shots easily shot down miles and miles away from the Abe Lincoln. They were blowing ammo into Fantasyland. Contrast that with, most significantly, in last night's wave of more than 800 strikes, we finished completely destroying Iran's defense industrial base, a core pillar of our mission objective. What little they have left buried in bunkers is all they will have. They can still shoot, we know that. Their command and control is so decimated they can't really talk and coordinate, so they still may shoot here and there, but that would be very, very unwise. But they can no longer build missiles, build rockets, build launchers, or build UAVs. Their factories have been razed to the ground, set back in historic fashion. You see, had Iran refused our terms, the next targets would have been their power plants, their bridges, and oil and energy infrastructure, targets they could not defend and could not realistically rebuild. It would have taken them decades, and we were locked and loaded. They couldn't defend against it. President Trump had the power to cripple Iran's entire economy in minutes, but he chose mercy. He spared those targets because Iran accepted the ceasefire under overwhelming pressure. The new Iranian regime understood that a deal was far better than the fate that awaited them. This new regime just happened to look at what happened to their predecessors. Their top leadership was systematically eliminated. Their previous Iranian supreme leader, dead. The Supreme National Security Council Secretary, dead. The Supreme Leader Office Advisor, dead. The Supreme Leader Military Office Chief, dead. The Defense Minister, no longer with us. The IRGC Commander, dead. The Armed Forces General Staff Commander, dead. The Intelligence Minister.
Okay. So there you get the patting on the back, self-ingratiating. Look at us. Look at us. I mean, this kind of stuff appeals to the ignorant masses. You guys are way above this level. This deal of we killed all the bad guys and they gave in because they knew we could do it again.
That's kind of what I wanted. I wanted a little bit more of okay, here's the 10 points. Here's what they've agreed to.
Right.
Here's how we're going to monitor it.
So here's the deal. I still don't trust Iran. I don't trust them at all. It would not surprise me if today, we didn't launch that missile. Somehow a missile got away and sunk a tanker right in the middle of the strait. We didn't do that, though. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So I don't trust them. I believe they're trying to get a moment to catch their breath. 2 weeks is not going to change a whole lot. Trump's goal, the market shows, stock market up sharply 1,000 points this morning before trading opened, and the oil prices have dropped significantly in anticipation of these tankers getting through the strait. So if Trump pulls off a week of hundreds of ships getting through the strait, that solves one of the problems. And if they actually adhere to the 10 points, that's a bonus to me. That's a bonus. I don't trust them. They didn't overnight change their ideology to convert or die.
No, but what I think happened is there was a lot of infighting in Iran between the political side of things and the IRGC. And I think what happened, the political side won out yesterday over the IRGC because apparently the IRGC had a general in place who was blocking appointments of the prime minister last week when Pakistan was trying to get people to the table to negotiate. The IRGC was saying there will be no negotiations. Your appointment sucks, Mr. Prime Minister, and we're not going to approve it. We're going to block it. Mm-hmm. So somehow cooler heads prevailed.
And you've got to figure that there's some infighting over there about, well, who are we going to appoint and which general is the closest to siding with the U.S.? What if one of these guys is a turncoat and decides to try to work something out with the United States? So that is in the air. I think that this is a good first step. I would be very careful embracing all the gloating of the administration. I'm sure you're going to hear today the president say, we totally overwhelmed them. We were the biggest, baddest army on the planet. That stuff. You can listen to that and realize that that's designed for the mindless masses. There are people in this country, a large number of people in this country that go, I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in Iran. I have no idea why we're over there. I have no idea why we're fighting.
Most people couldn't point out Iran on a map.
They sure couldn't, even though it's pretty big.
So here's the 10-point plan according to Iranian media this morning. With number 1 was withdrawal of U.S. forces from the region. Number 2 was Iranian control of the Strait of Hormuz. 3 was compensation for damages to Iran.
I mean, they're 0 for 3. They're 0 for 3 right there.
Number 4 was removal of sanctions.
That's not going to happen either.
Number 5 was release. Keep in mind, this is according to the Iranian media. Release of frozen Iranian assets.
So they're right now, they're telling them, we won this war. They're going to get out of here. We still control the strait. We get our assets back. No more sanctions. You know that's not what the U.S. is going to agree to.
Way down on number 6 is Iran's commitment to not build nuclear weapons because we can believe them, right?
Sure, I trust them.
Number 7 was acceptance of Iran's right to enrich uranium for their nuclear power capabilities. You don't need 60% uranium. I think you need like 3%, something like that. It's not anywhere near where they were going.
Like Andrew Alvarez says, they don't even own the strait. I mean, that's the biggest misconception. Yeah. It's not the Strait of Hormuz. No. It's not theirs.
They just have land along the side of it, and the only country in the Middle East that tends to use that to pirate ships and basically keep.
And like James Kerr said, we're not going to leave the region ever.
No. Iran's agreement to peace treaties with regional countries, ceasing hostilities against all resistance groups in the region. That'll never happen. And provisions backed by a UN resolution.
Yeah. No, so if that's what they think their 10 points are, is that the U.S. will leave the region, that U.S. will remove sanctions. They still control the Strait of Hormuz. And so Andrew Alvarez, who is a very smart man, says they don't even own the Stare and they don't even own the Strait with a GHT. He's working on it. He's getting closer.
Apparently, in a phone call last night, the president suggested that Iran doesn't even know what the points are.
Right.
Based on that.
So what I'm saying is this is a very, very tenuous ceasefire. And this is certainly not a peace treaty.
And Trump has said he knows what the points are, but won't talk about them.
Well,
so maybe that's why we're not finding out what the 10 points are, because we're not saying what the 10 points are.
Right. And by the way, if Trump does acquiesce to anything along this level, that is so far removed from his statement that they will have an unequivocal, absolute surrender, that I guarantee you we will lose the midterms. So he better find a way to stand firm on what he wanted. Speaking of
Sky News saying that the 10 points that Iran claims are the 10 points are not the president said those aren't the 10 points.
That's right. And we just told you they're not the 10 points. Nobody would agree to that. It is worth noting that in the rescue effort the other day, while that was going on, the U.S., remember we reported earlier in the week that those two high-ranking Iranian generals were killed? That's because they were at the IRGC headquarters, which was being bombed simultaneously to the rescue effort. That's beautiful. While we're trying to find the guy, they all run, our pilot, they all run to their headquarters to conflab. So we just blew them up. I think that's wonderful warfare. Very targeted. No school.
Was that another falafel house?
It was another. They were at the Ayatollah hop. But this morning Blaine Holt was talking about, look, I can give you some allusions into this, but a lot of this stuff is highly classified. They talked about a quantum murmur, and the idea being, because I remember him saying, I think there's a low frequency transmitter. The low frequency transmitter was the pilot's heartbeat. The United States,
they can detect it within 40 meters of this guy with he said he couldn't go into because this is a retired brigadier general talking.
I can't go into the specifics of it because it's classified.
But we have the technology to determine or to pick up
his heartbeat.
Basically the frequency. Every human gives off a frequency, and
yours is static.
It is a little bit.
It's a little static.
A little echo in there too.
There's a murmur.
Yeah. But every heartbeat, apparently, according to the Brigadier General, is like your fingerprint. Everybody's is different. And so they can pinpoint each person, and they have to get within 40 meters, which that's 120 feet.
Mas o menos. Did you know they said that every one of those pilots, obviously, those F-15 pilots and long-range bomber pilots, they can wrap falafel. Sounds great. They have an EKG on file from all of their testing and their medical history, and they can literally upload that and seek it. And they said this guy was injured and scaled a 7,000-foot cliff to make himself available.
So they can detect the heartbeat, and get rescued.
That's amazing. When all this dust settles, and in as much as our society nowadays ever glorifies military exercises, some of the things, and I'm not giving Trump credit for this, although Donald Trump did rebuild the military in his first term, the things that have been accomplished via the United States military and the United States fighting soldier are just phenomenal. The minimal, although still significant, the minimal loss of life on our side during all of these. This morning is the first time. Yesterday on Breitbart, they asked a military expert, well, how many people were deployed? And in fact, they asked the president, how many people were involved in this exercise? He goes, I'd love to tell you. And back in the background, he turned to one of the generals and he said, I'd like to keep that secret, sir. And the president said, okay, well, I guess I can't tell you. And I respect that about Donald Trump. He turned to the general. The general said, nah, we're not going to give that out. Today, Blaine Holt said that over 100 Special Forces troops were on the ground to find that guy. Wow. And
he said the personnel recovery training that all the special forces go through is nowhere near what it was decades ago. They've learned some things about not leaving people behind.
And you talk about a morale builder. That's, if you were to say, and you would think that might be like a Donald Trump thing, right? Well, that's just one pilot. He's expendable. No, Donald Trump said, go get him.
It's kind of our thinking a little bit in Vietnam, unless you're.
Yeah, Donald Trump said, go get him. So, good job. Let's take a break. Folks, Para Vida Wellness, I saw Erica Briggs yesterday. They're doing some remodeling over there at the store.
Making a bigger kitchen because she's got bigger kitchen needs.
Absolutely. Right there on Airline at Laurent.
Renovations should be open or should be over today from what I was told, and everything should be back to normal.
Para Vida Wellness, I picked up some meals. You can go by and get them as well. Went Services, Went for all your generator needs. Generac preferred dealer. Turnkey generator service. You show up, you go to work, you come home, you have a generator that works. Allen's Wrecker Service. I went by and visited with Janet Miller yesterday to make sure we were doing a great job for her. She said, I don't listen to the show. No, not really.
How's Janet?
She's super, and she said, look, if you're in Calhoun, DeWitt, Goliad, Gonzales, Carnes, Atascosa, B, Frio, Jim Hogg, Victoria, Refugio, anywhere in the No Bull network, Allen's Wrecker Service is your go-to tow-to from anywhere. 578-6300. I also went by and visited with Lee Caballero yesterday. Veracruz.
You missed it by a day. Today is called a Wednesday.
I got to see Minnie. She said, get out of my restaurant. Veracruz restaurant for the freshest chips, the best salsa, the creamiest guacamole, and just the cheesiest queso you can get anywhere in the region. Veracruz
and today, you'll get the best bowl of caldo.
Absolutely.
Around.
And USA Foundation Repair. As we go into spring, if your doors aren't closing, if your ears hang low, you can, anyway, go by, call 578.
I never sang it with ears.
Call USA Concrete Coatings and USA Foundation Repair. They can lift
578 home.
They can shim up your pier and beam home. They do it. They do it with family members. Charlie Garcia's brothers run the crews. They are the best of the best.
Missed roll call this morning. I think I got the podium in. Stephanie County, Scott Tomko, Greg Garcia, but Rena Scher is checking in. Mark Kurtz, Patrick Strauss, Bobby Leister ran into Bobby yesterday. BJ Nelson, Linda Christ, Marvin Mickish, Lisa Poole, Sherry Jacobs, Brad Mitchell, Andrew Alvarez, Scott Snow, Jordan Glass, John Anderson. Good morning, Marina.
Hi, Marina.
Scott Tomko, NHL, the hockey half minute. Dallas beat Calgary 4-3 in overtime yesterday. Putting the Flames on the brink of elimination from the playoffs, and then Nashville won their game, so the Flames officially eliminated from the playoffs. The Stars have clinched the playoff spot, so there you go. Tammy Keeling, good morning. Crystal Mapp, Brent Anderson, Cody Bauman.
Their season sure seems short to me.
Started in October.
It's just, well, I mean, I know, but doesn't it? I guess it was a while back. It just seems like just yesterday.
Andrew Alvarez with the queso hack, he says, put their salsa in their queso.
Oh, yes, no doubt. And you can also get it with taco meat. It's just phenomenal. There's JP Hull checking in.
Torrin Bales checking in.
Reminds you, we love our offices here at the offices at 205. Actually, it's really a suite to me. It's very super nice, high ceilings, great acoustics. If you haven't been and supported several of the businesses that are in this building, you should come and check it out. Not least of which downstairs is Greek's 205 restaurant. Fantastic spot.
James Kerr says we're not going to do all this just to go, well, 10 days of session. I guess we'll go home now. Yeah, we're not leaving the region.
No, we're not leaving the region, and Iran is mistaken about their 10-day. Seeing Torrin Bales there and JP side by side, two multi-billionaires, it means a lot because I'm telling you, those two guys are not only going to support, they will attend. I am mandating it. Our protest rally,
no fools
the
rally,
no fools rally that will be. It's coming up. If you'd have seen the light come on in Trish Hastings' eyes when I told her we're gonna open the door to. I think we also should have somebody out there registering voters. How do you feel about that? We get somebody to come and say you can register. So if you come in and you register to vote, that would be an option for you. I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. Just come on out and help people get registered to vote. And then we're going to give them something, whatever we put on the griddle that moment. I know Junior Samples wants to come out there and help. And we may do eggs and chorizo or sausage. Or I'm going to get with John Turner at the chopping block.
Tacos.
And I think we do tacos. And I think 7 to 9 kind of thing is really an early morning protest because most of us have things to do rather than just protest all day. But we'll go out there and do that. And we're going to collect some canned goods and then we're going to deliver those to Christ Kitchen. It's coming together. I think it may be the Saturday before Mother's Day.
That would be May 9th,
and
tentatively.
That is shaping up to me to be the correct day to do so. So we will see. If you have any ideas, if you're like, hey, well, I can donate,
a dozen eggs.
Well, I mean, a dozen eggs is at least a dozen tacos, and tortillas are cheap. I mean, we're going to front some of this, but we would love to have some support from the community because I think it's a realistic and it's an organic thing, right? Whatever shows up, we'll put it on the griddle. And I think it'll be nice.
I don't know. Somebody walked by with an armadillo. I'm going to throw that on the griddle.
Use a little butter, put some chupacabra on it. I can see us making pancakes. Somebody shows up with a thing of batter. I've got oil. I've got a spatula. I'm not scared. Good morning, Melissa Hanson, Jim Hinojosa. Good morning, sir. Greg Garcia says, it's hilarious that Iran actually thinks that anyone but the mainstream media would believe anything that they put out. I agree with that. And the 10 points they put out, if they're trying to tell their populace, and I'll admit it crosses my mind that, well, maybe we're getting played by our media just like they're getting played by theirs, but the observations are pretty simple. Yeah, Scott Tonko says, potluck tacos. What could go wrong? Hold my beer.
Yeah.
7 a.m. on a Saturday, maybe brought to you by Budweiser. I don't know. Andrew Harris says a couple of generators. I don't think we need a generator. We may need a tub of propane. Should be daylight. I don't know, unless we need like a mini split, maybe a cooling tent. We might need a porta potty.
No.
Just pee behind the truck?
Nobody will need to pee before you get there.
Right.
Be an adult.
What if it's a protest? What if somebody needs to be a victim? What if you need to be upset?
Then go to the No Kings rally.
Yeah, No Kings. So dumb. What if it was like, what if they just got it all together? No black kings. Then it'd be like BLM or if you said no black kings, would that be racist?
Yes, it would be. Jordan Glass says, is there a tea time afterwards?
Probably. We could probably tee it up. We could also have a charity golf tournament. That's the great thing about this forum and you folks is you could steer it. We can do whatever you like. I'm willing.
No, we already had a black king in Obama, so that we could never protest that, I guess.
That's true. You can't protest that. Are we getting to the point as a society where we no longer have to make a big deal out of, like, for example, I think my trek towards being less inherently racist is that it did not register with me that it was a big deal that we had a black astronaut. I wasn't like, well, look at that, man. They got a black guy going up in that rocket. It never crossed my mind.
No.
Good for him. I thought, man, that guy, they're all great pilots. It never crossed my mind. But we've had a black Supreme Court justice, a black president. We've had enough black quarterbacks that you can't cry racism in the NFL when a black quarterback gets cut. You've got a black
Shadur Sanders.
Right. Well, I mean, but that's, he's a buffoon of a human being. That's his problem. Now he's just a human being. In fact, I'm almost at the point now where
good college quarterback, not a good NFL quarterback.
Not even a great college quarterback. And my deal is, can you win now in the NFL with a white quarterback? I don't know.
That's Buffalo.
Well, they can't quite get over the hump. And the half of Patrick Mahomes seems to have held him back this year. The black half was winning Super Bowls. So I don't know. I really don't. Are we past pointing out this is the first black astronaut?
Well, apparently we're past it because the Democrats no longer felt the need to have a black woman represent them for the Senate race in Texas.
Right. Hakeem Jeffries, the leader of the minority leader in the House, black guy.
I mean, where were the cries of racism in the Democrat Party when they elected the squarest white guy they could to represent them in Texas?
Tallarico?
Yes.
They're just looking for somebody they think can beat Cornyn. And I'll tell you what, James Tallarico is the most dangerous person in Texas. If you take that really odd individual and you put him in the United States Senate, he is a really, really odd dude. And it makes me wish that John Cornyn was more palatable because I don't like John Cornyn, but I'm going to have to vote for John Cornyn for sure before I vote for the pro-choice Christian minister. I just don't.
You're assuming that Cornyn wins the runoff.
I think he almost has to in order to beat Tallarico. I think there's enough, maybe misplaced, but there's enough dislike for Ken Paxton. By the way, you have an opportunity next week, Monday. You have an opportunity to meet and ask questions yourself of Ken Paxton. He will be here in town. Our own Barbara Brazil did a great job getting him to come to a Republican meeting on the
20th.
On the 20th. Ken Paxton will be in Victoria, Texas. Now, we've had him on the program. I thought we had him on after one scandal, but before the next, right?
So,
we had him on before he was banished, which, by the way, the House has now admitted, well, we made a mistake. He didn't do anything. I mean, it's kind of like once you get the toothpaste out of the tube.
And here's the thing, though. Now you think his office would learn, right?
Yeah.
Because now his office is being investigated for giving hotel rooms to donors. The Attorney General's office is being investigated again,
right,
for apparently covering the hotel rooms of donors when they've come to us or something. I don't know.
But if you give me $100 or you give me $10,000 and I give you $100 back to stay in the hotel room, I don't know if that's bad or not.
Yeah. So Monday the 20th at the Galvan Hall in the North Building on the A&M Victoria campus.
So not next Monday, but the Monday following. You've got plenty of time. Dawn Nicole comes in. Hi, sweetheart. She says 2 Mondays from this week.
It's a Republican monthly meeting. They've got a 5:00 social potluck dinner, and then the meeting runs from 5:30 to 6:30, and Ken Paxton is the guest speaker.
And he will be a phenomenal speaker.
No, he is a really good speaker.
He's a really good speaker. Yeah. Greg Garcia says there's always a false prophet on the ballot. And Torrin Bale says, I'll vote for Cornyn over the wolf in sheep's clothing.
Well, and it's interesting to see what's going on in Virginia with Abigail Spanberger, their governor, because Democrats are now coming out and going, this isn't the Spanberger I voted for.
Right.
She ran as a moderate Democrat, center left, and now that she's in power in Virginia, she's gone way left. And the Democrats in Virginia, they're not happy.
So am I right if you say to me center left, what I see in my limited scope of center left is you're fiscally conservative probably, and you're going to lean a little liberal on some social issues. Like if you're a Democrat, you're probably pro-choice, and you're probably concerned about gun control. I do find it interesting that the Democrats have no problem with Iran having a nuclear weapon, but they don't want me to have an AR-15. Okay, that makes perfect sense. But I wonder if you're center left and you end up acting way left, or so she's alienating the center right and the pure centrist because she's probably like way pro LGBTQ and way adamant about we've got to do this and that and the other thing that's extreme. Is that what we're saying?
Because Virginia was, they didn't want to elect the black woman as governor.
Right.
So they elect the pasty white woman as governor. By
the way, the black woman, she made some good points.
Winston Sears.
I thought she was pretty
Republican.
sharp.
She wasn't going to win because she's a Republican in Virginia. But
Scott Tompkins says they ordered a filet, but they got a Spam burger. What a treat. That'll make you click.
She thought this was going to be her sort of stepping stone to the national politics.
Oh, no.
She's done for politically.
I do like
2 terms, I think, is all you can
term
run for
out. I like that. And same in California.
But she will not. I don't think she'll survive a second term there.
No. Very interesting.
Yeah. She's almost making Mom Donnie look conservative.
Boy, that guy. And I think it was you that pointed out to me that, the governor of New York pretty much really runs New York City. I thought that was interesting. Mom Donnie, bring your multiple forms of identification to work as a trash collector. I'm going to have to tax everybody that makes 150 grand or more, which is pretty much everybody who lives in Manhattan.
Now he's trying to tax everybody who's leaving New York.
Yeah. John Anderson brings up a point about NASA. The astronauts are on their way back. They did go around the far side of the moon. I love saying far side. The Larson's cartoons were some of the best I've ever seen. So what do you think about where we're at with NASA? You told me that this rocket, this trip around the moon somewhat re-energized your thoughts about NASA. I could have done without NASA. I thought, and by the way, the guy that runs NASA, former SpaceX guy, one of the pilots, a SpaceX guy. I mean, I think it's interesting how much SpaceX is involved.
Well, and it's kept the cost of this mission relatively cheap too, because a lot of the technology for this mission was developed by Elon Musk and SpaceX.
Yeah. I get that you can do what you want as an American, and it's one of the things that makes us great. It's always intrigued me that a guy like Elon Musk with a bunch of money could just go down south of Brownsville down there and buy a pad of land and all of a sudden just launch missiles into outer space. The idea being that potentially if he messed up, it's a matter of national security. In theory, I mean, if he launches a rocket and it takes a hard left and lands in the middle of Houston, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Am I right? I mean, you're kind of like, when did we just? What if you and the Wade and Carter off?
I don't think he had carte blanche to do whatever he wanted.
So where did he get permission?
From the federal government.
So was he given favoritism?
I think he had a lot of grants too.
Interesting. There's no doubt that the private sector can develop things at a more.
I heard somebody point out that Elon Musk and SpaceX, through mostly private money, have launched and put 400 rockets into space, a bunch of satellites into space.
They just kind of have a launch a week,
For
don't they?
less money than Gavin Newsom has currently spent on the high-speed rail that apparently has, 16 feet of track or something like that.
That's a joke. That whole thing's a joke.
And that thing's, going to cost more and will never, ever make a dime. But SpaceX has done more with the same amount of money than California has done with their high-speed rail because the government's involved, was basically the point.
I've ridden a relatively high-speed rail in Europe, and I don't know why I felt comfortable getting on it. I'm going to tell you.
There's only one that makes money in the world, and that's in Japan.
I would not feel comfortable getting on a train and riding from Houston to Dallas at 200 miles an hour. I just wouldn't, unless it was on an elevated, designated Disney-like tram, like the tram you see at the airport, because there are just too many good old boys with a dip of snuff taking a load of corn over to the market.
Well, what happens if Tiger Woods running parallel
There
and
you
decides
go.
to change the radio and look at his phone? He might end up in the side of the train.
Right. You know the difference between a golf ball and a Range Rover? Tiger can drive a golf ball 300 yards without hitting something.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Tornbill says, I will definitely jump on the SpaceX IPO. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Of course, once again, Tornbill's multi-billionaire. Once you've already got so much.
Yeah, what do you need another billion?
You're going to dial that in from the Lido deck?
No, that's John Paul.
Right. Oh, that is John Paul John Paul has a yacht so big that he just opens up the back and Tornbill's 80-foot Viking just pulls right in. Sure. Like a Sea-Doo.
It's like Russian nesting
It's
dolls.
like a Sea-Doo. He just lands his unbelievable with Lola, the Frenchie.
Republican Clay Fuller wins in Georgia. The runoff to succeed, not secede. Marjorie Taylor Greene, there was concern that maybe it wasn't going to happen, but apparently.
Is that a precursor to the midterms? Are we not seeing the tremendous Democrat turnout that, removes, or is Marjorie Taylor Greene's area just so Republican to be like having a Democrat run in Victoria right now who would have no chance to win?
I mean, there's the district.
Yeah, it's pretty real.
He won 56% of the vote compared to the Democrat candidate.
Right.
Who was a black man, so just wait. The Dems will come out and say this was racist.
Racism,
Yeah.
It's racism.
Yeah.
Why don't you find something on the chopping block while I tell folks about Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends? Get into Palace this week. Friday night, this coming Friday night at 10:40, I'm inviting all of you to come to Palace Bingo for what they call, I guess it's a Newfoundland thing. They call it Midnight Bingo. It starts at 10:40. That's kind of like Newfoundland. But Ida Caballero from Veracruz, it is her birthday bingo. Now, anybody can play.
Friday night,
This Friday night, 10:40 p.m. You can show up, play bingo.
It's not Wade and Carter night.
No, but it's Ida Caballero night. And it would be great if her friends from Veracruz showed up for her, don't tell her, 61st birthday.
Ooh.
Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Bobby Leon and his family. Bobby Leon will be at the Ken Paxton dinner. Highly recommend you come to that. It'll be very informative. And I really believe that the timeliness of this, it will give you a clear view of should you vote for Paxton or Cornyn. You need to make two decisions. Can Paxton win against John Cornyn? And can Paxton beat Tallarico?
Yes.
There you go. The chopping block. What's going on?
Today is Wacky Wing Wednesday. $3.99 a pound for your favorite flavor of wings.
And they've got a bunch. Garlic and Parmesan
garlic
and
Parmesan,
hot
yeah.
and, Daytona. And,
lemon pepper. The Daytona wings are good. But if you go in, they're already $3.99 a pound. So that's $1 off a pound. But today, if you buy 5 pounds of wings, you'll get 1 pound free.
wow.
So you'll get 6 pounds of wings for the price of 5.
There you have it. Welcome back to the world famous, as Ash labeled it, Atzenhofer Studio. We're proud to have you in. Atzenhofer, a South Texas tradition for over 100 years. Think about that. Very few Chevrolet dealerships, General Motors dealerships, period, anywhere in the country that have been around with one family longer than our own Atzenhofer Chevrolet. Fantastic group of people.
Apparently, TxDOT is seeking Texans' public opinion and input on the future of I-35, what they call the Main Street of Texas.
It needs medians. Give it some medians.
Interesting. Hey, here's something Ken Paxton might talk about when he's here in town. Apparently, he's investigating a bunch of solar panel power companies for alleged violations of our state's Deceptive Trade Practices Consumer Protection Act. Couldn't find a better name for that.
No, that's the DTP CPA.
Yeah. Apparently, his office has received over 100 complaints against a San Antonio-based solar company, a Houston-based solar company, and a couple of companies out of California.
Thousands of Texans have been targeted by companies selling solar panel systems, and it's imperative that these companies are held responsible for any lies or deceptive marketing they use. You got to figure some of that comes around how much power is going to be generated, how much money they're going to save by going back to the grid with their surplus, and how much of a government subsidy or tax deduction they're going to get.
Apparently, KPRC too has reported that some customers were swindled over $130,000 out of this thing.
Wow. Yeah. I get this too, that they were pressured to sign and didn't fully understand. It sounds like buyer's remorse. Yeah. Sounds like buyer's remorse, I mean, hey, read it twice before you sign it.
So I-35, which runs from Laredo to the Texas-Oklahoma border, they want your input. TxDOT wants your input on the future of that corridor.
And what do they want you to do?
They want help identifying existing gaps and evolving multimodal transportation needs for the next 25 years. So there's your high-speed rail. Not going to happen, but.
I back to the elections. I just want to encourage you, and I know that the majority of our audience votes Republican, how about this? The majority of our audience just doesn't vote Democrat. I get that. You may not call yourself a Republican, but you're probably not going to vote for James Tallarico. But I want to encourage you to picture the next 2 years of Donald Trump's presidency. If you can't hang on 2 more years with the Republican way of doing things, whether you're a Republican or call yourself a Democrat, be aware that if you elect a Democrat to the Senate, and if we lose the balance of power in the House and the Senate,
which historically is likely to happen,
you will see an endless number of bogged down the system lawsuits. I believe you'll see at least one impeachment. You're just going to see
they'll try to impeach Trump for sure
garbage.
If they gain control of the House again.
Yes.
I mean, the Senate is not approving any of his appointments. But again, here's the problem.
He's been in office over a year.
You've got a Republican Party that has had control of the House and Senate and will have had control of the House and arguably the Senate for 2 years. And what have they done? 2 government shutdowns in Trump's term that he'll be blamed for.
Right.
Because Republicans can't seem to line up enough to get things going And the Senate is even worse.
Yeah.
This is you and I predicted this. That we're going to have 2 years of a do-nothing Congress and a do-nothing Senate. And then at the midterms, things are going to flip Democrat. And Republicans are going to blame the Democrats for the next 2 years. Well, they did nothing in the first 2 years. And it's starting to play out that way, folks. Because historically, this is what Republicans have done basically since Reagan.
That's true. The Republicans always seem apologetic to be in charge. It seems like the natural order of things is for the Democrats to be in charge. Because when the Republicans are in charge, they spend all their time trying not to make mistakes and they don't do anything. Is that fair? They say, oh, well, we want you to like us so that you reelect us, but you don't do anything. Now, the guy who's not that way has been Donald Trump. I listened to him in a press conference the other day, and the lady started out with, Mr. President, what do you say to the critics? But he goes, I don't listen to the critics. Good for him. I mean, good for him. And I've never seen a president more public with his cabinet meetings or more willing to say, Marco, what do you think about that?
You really believe a
JD?
guy like him doesn't listen to the critics?
Oh, I have no doubt that, I mean, it's how he responds on Twitter, but
Yeah.
He's like saying, when it comes to this war, I believe Donald Trump is doing what he thinks is right. Was Waymo driverless vehicles?
Yeah, they launched in February in San Antonio, and they've had nothing but problems.
Yeah, over the weekend,
since.
an occupied Waymo vehicle got stuck facing the wrong direction in a Whataburger drive-thru. Police, but by the way, drunk people do that here every night. It's not that big a deal.
No, you just have to wake them up. In this case, they had to deactivate the car, and police had to push it out of the way.
Which means that a private company is using taxpayer dollars, police assets to get it out.
That's socialism, folks.
Yeah. Another one got stranded at a high water crossing.
Yeah. Nobody was in that one,
nobody
though,
was in
thankfully. But yeah.
Last week, one of the company's vehicles ignored a cop's directions and proceeded in the wrong direction through a one-way school zone. It was a scary and dangerous situation, said parent Pam Antal. What do? I would not want to write. Well, I'd like to write it because no matter what the premium is, I still make money, but I would hate to be the guy that had to underwrite the insurance for Waymo. Yeah.
We watched this video yesterday, didn't we?
Which
about
one?
that motorcycle driver who wiped out in San Antonio?
Yeah.
And his motorcycle erupted in flames after it hit the curb. Then the guy was on fire and ran away.
He did catch on fire.
Yeah. He later admitted he was speeding. No kidding.
Yeah, the bike was going 50 when it hit the curb and burst into flames.
But the most appalling thing of the video were all the kids that were walking home from school.
Oh, they were all like this.
They were all like that.
Motorcycle goes by on fire.
Yeah. I mean, some of them didn't even react because they were too busy looking at their phones.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has launched an investigation into the Islamic Tribunal, a faith-based mediation group, over allegations of issuing judicial rulings based on Sharia law.
Are they judicial rulings, or is this just agreed upon mediation?
I don't know, but can you? And this is the gray area. So if you and I have a dispute and we agree to go to the Islamic Tribunal and they decide that I'm wrong and that you get to cane me, is that legal in Texas? I don't know. And see, there's that gray area where, well, they're not binding, but you agreed to it. Civil law disputes, such as divorces. Take her home, beat the snot out of her, and make her make you a pot pie. That's not legal in Texas.
It's not what they're doing either.
Do you know that? Yes. Have you met with these people? I'm saying this is how they infiltrate your system, and the next thing you know, you're finding that Sharia law starts to shape how our laws are made. Oh, no, that could never happen. Don't be stupid. Ask England. Ask England.
Beth Din already does this for Jewish folks.
Okay, and how is Jewish law different than our law? I'm asking. I'm not disagreeing. I'm asking.
Well, it's mediation for dispute resolution in civil courts.
Right.
They anchor their principles in Jewish law. I don't know
Which,
how
by
it
the way,
differs, but I'm sure there's probably some things that are, and you agree to the mediation, you agree to the mediation.
So we'll take the Jews and the Christians, but we don't want the Muslims. And by the way, that's about where I'm at. Don't want them.
I'm just saying, if you agree to this for civil law mediation, and again, unless you agree to the outcome,
right,
you can agree to be mediated. You don't have to agree to what you don't have to do it. I don't believe mediation is binding in Texas. You and I can mediate a dispute, and if we don't agree to it, we still go to court.
Fair enough. So we'll see.
And I'm wondering if that's the issue, because maybe they're making their mediation binding.
Well, I don't know. But where did I get this T-shirt? So I bought this T-shirt at the rodeo 2 years ago, and it was from a company that wasn't at the rodeo this year. But I do like that. Texas versus all y'all. And it is about the state, not my university. Stephanie Connie says they were handing out Sharia law pamphlets in a public school in Texas. Was just on Newsmax yesterday. See, that's got to stop. Yeah, that's got to stop in Wiley, Texas, near Dallas.
That's interesting.
You don't. I mean, no, Donnie, is this a Burlebo? Does it say Burlebo in the back?
No, it says tied to Texas on the back.
Yeah, no. This is one I got at the rodeo. But Donnie buys me a lot of Burlebo, Burlebo, and I totally, and I know you've got some too, totally recommend Burlebo. Great product. Yeah, I am.
Are you an affiliate marketer?
I could be. I know you're upset because I didn't get paid for it. My deal is,
no, you're upset because
I tell everybody the best people I know. For example, First State Bank of Louise, the First State Bank of Louise Astros update, brought to you by the friendliest little bank anywhere. Let's talk a lot about First State Bank of Louise, okay? Because the Astros are not what we're talking about. You can go in there with your children or with anybody.
Go see Lolly. She'll take care of you.
Go see Lolly, who's the branch manager right there at Stockbauer and Salem Road. You can open a free checking. I mean, there are no hidden fees. A free savings account.
Don't they have a big party coming up soon?
They always have a big crawfish boil in the spring. I'm telling you, First State Bank of Louise will teach your children, help your children learn money management. Caden works at the chopping block. He takes that money. He usually puts about 3/4 into savings and the rest into his checking.
Good for him.
So and he uses a debit card. He does it. The modern child, there's no checkbook. He gets no paper check. No paper check. Doesn't have any checks. And he gets no paper statement.
And he doesn't get a paper paycheck either, does he?
No, everything is direct deposit and it just operates electronically. He is being groomed to accept the government digital currency.
And they've got a new branch in Shiner too, right?
Brand new branch in Shiner.
So if you're on the No Bull Network, you could use First State Bank of Louise in Shiner.
Astros lose last night 5-1 to the hapless, terrible Oakland A's.
No.
Who they
Colorado Rockies.
Colorado Rockies, another hapless, terrible team.
Who were floundering until the Astros came to town.
The Astros go to town and make the bad teams look good, and then they'll come home and they'll beat somebody like the Yankees. It's just craziness. Josh Hader closer to returning. Hunter Brown not closer to returning. We got rid of a kid named Nunez yesterday. He was a Rule 5 guy, which I think means if you trade for him, you've got to put him on your roster right away.
You can't send him to the minors.
Yeah, but so we just optioned him, meaning you suck and you've got to go. And when he leaves, he'll be offered first back to the team he came from, which I think might have been the Cincinnati Reds. Doesn't matter. We don't want him. Brian Abreu has been really terrible as a middle and late reliever, and we really need Hader back. But Astros are 6-6. They look fine. It's fine. It's early.
It is early, and good thing nobody's really running away with the division.
Right. And it would be really hard to run away in 12 games. So we folk,
Unless you're 12-0.
still really hard to run away in a 162-game season.
You won't win the division at the start of the year, but you could lose it. But being 6-6, they're not in any danger of that either.
Hope you folks have a great day. It is the top of the hour. Omar Lopez for next Astros manager. You're talking about the guy that coached the Venezuelan team. I have no problem. Okay. John Ayers says, your show becomes better and better with each viewing. Thank you both for the information you supply. Your listening audience. Thank you, John Anderson, for listening over in the Carolinas. Stay well, my brother. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.